Greetings. Greetings, Rommies. You're listening to WromComms, the monthly podcast brought to you by
Compose yourself here, because we can't start this with you having lost
Why
your
No!
shit.
Why not?
Why? This is how we always do it. Greetings, Rommies. You're watching WromComms, the monthly podcast brought to you by the WromComms team, bringing you the joy of sim racing and shenanigans and all of the opinions that you could possibly want. This month, we are in April, which means that we have...
The mess of early access.
Project Motor Racing is just GTR 3 now. This is great.
And does Beam.NG do WRC better than WRC?
You're listening to WromComms, the podcast sharing the joy of sim racing and motorsports, made by the WromWrom team. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. He's Ike, and he'll be the host today.
I forgot about that bit. The problem is in our dock, that is like right up the top, and my it's so far away from where you guys are. I'm having to look way further away, and I just totally forgot that bit. But yes, I don't like to introducing myself, but yes. These two are much better looking than I am. Certa.
So I'll take a small detour. As
Go.
Anybody who's been long enough in the channel knows, I earn my money in IT as a pro, as a project manager, scrum master, whatever you want to call this kind of team lead. And in the course of programming, in the course of making a product out of software, you have different phases. You have an alpha phase. You have a phase where you give everything to your QA, and they find hopefully all the bugs, and for sure all the critical and major bugs, and then you go into debugging those, and then you arrive at a point where you say, okay, the major bugs are out, things are working, we have some medium bugs and some small bugs, but no critical and major. We can go to what is called a friendly user test, which is the people who have contracted you or your team to do the software, even if it's internal in the company. There are people from business or whatever who have told you this is the software that we want to have, and you give it to them. It's a small group, 4, 10, 20 people who have been following what you've been doing and know why there are some points where things don't work. Friendly user test. Those then give their feedback and say, hey, this and this, oh yeah, this is a known bug, so we have encountered that, etc. They give their feedback, but the moment that you arrive at the friendly user test, you have a software that is working and that has no critical and no major bugs, or at least no critical, because those would mean crashes, and only a couple of major bugs that then the friendly users find, because when you are using it in different ways and so on, we all know how it goes. And during the friendly user test, you may find 1 or 2 majors, hopefully no criticals, a couple of medium and minors. And then when you finish the friendly user test, you have a software that is mature enough that you then release, like do a big release. So in my opinion, the way I see it, the early access software should be at the level of friendly user test. There is no critical. There may be majors, but at not many majors, and it's a small group of people who are dedicated, who know, yes, this is not the release version. Yes, you're going to encounter issues. Let's go for it. It seems it's not what the sim companies, and let's be sure, this is not a sickness that only invades the sim studios. It's all over the gaming world. It seems that if I check what the early access of LMU was, the early access of Assetto Corsa Evo was, is exactly, there are still, but LMU now is in a very mature place. But Assetto Corsa Evo or Wreckfest 2, all those early accesses, in my opinion, were not at the friendly user level, but they were at the let's take the users who are paying for it as our unpaid QA, because LMU, when it came out a year ago, was buggy, had major issues, had even some critical issues. Assetto Corsa Evo not being able to contact the server for 3 weeks after releasing early access, for me it's a critical issue. It's not even a major, it's a critical issue.
Well,
because you did need,
pause there for a second.
No, you did need to have the server ongoing to be able to use Evo the way they had promised that you would be able to use it. And Wreckfest,
and therein lies my issue.
Exactly. And Wreckfest not being able to use your pedals, if your pedals and wheel were not on the same company, or even on the same build, in my opinion, it's a critical and not a major. So the 3 last Pista Motorsport, who nobody talks about anymore for good reason, the early access was also a catastrophe, and we haven't seen an update of that for a long while. By the way, I know we haven't seen an update for Assetto Corsa Evo in a while, but Kunos just dropped a small information to users saying, we've been working on it. The next update is going to be big. So, okay, I'll give them that. But in my opinion, early access is a mess because the software is not even mature at the level of friendly user test, but it's got critical issues, and it's got a ton and a half of major issues. And that is not the way that professional software development works.
Should work.
Should work, yes, absolutely. Not
even the project manager, let's put it that way.
Now, I have a couple of counters to what you're saying, in that what we are seeing with early access is not as you say, Serta, not how early access should be used, but it is being used in what could be considered a constructive way, where you are giving discounted purchases to users at a very early point in the development so that they can dictate or have an opinion on where the product matures to. Now, that's theoretically. What actually happens, because let's be honest, we've seen, again, this is an issue that exists outside of the sim racing space as well, is that it's not being used. It's basically being used as a cash cow. We need money. We're going to release the game in whatever state it is at the moment and build from that. They're sacrificing money later for the sake of getting money now, which could well be making an argument for the poor state of game development. It could also be there's any number of reasons why we could be seeing this, and it would be better if we had one of the developers from a studio where they're actually using early access on to get that kind of conversation, because I think that Marcel, for example, would be a bad person to speak to about this, because he would agree with you. Basically, we've seen how much work he's putting into The Last Garage to make sure that it is a full product before he starts asking any money from anyone for it. But I believe that it's a symptom of the times, not necessarily a it's a symptom rather than a cause, if that makes sense. Developers aren't doing this because they feel like it; they're doing it because they feel like they're forced to. Through one
let's
form or
and let's
another.
be clear: developers are not doing this; management is doing this.
Absolutely, yeah. Developers as in development houses, game companies, things like that. But I do also think as well, one of the biggest issues that we've this goes on to another gripe that I've had for decades at this point, that the move to online gaming and the lack of move. Now, did you know that we've had flash storage since the 1970s? The kind of flash storage that is in SD cards we've had since the 1970s. There was no reason for the PlayStation to have anything other than an SD card or a smaller version of solid state
like
memory.
the PS1 with the discs.
Yes, yeah.
Cost was the reason. It was way cheaper to make a CD than to make a cartridge with flash storage.
Yes, but it was also, discs are a lot more fragile.
And games went from being like $80-$90 to make. That's not even adjusted for inflation, but and then they got
now
like
they've gone back. Now they've
$30,
gone back to
$40.
$80.
Yeah, and then now they're back. That's a different conversation. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it made
I didn't realize
it made games like Blockbuster was Blockbuster for a reason, because most people couldn't afford to just outright buy the games they wanted to play.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I totally get that. But again, like as I say, this
with CDs.
Yeah, but again, the technology was maturing is the point. But either way, again, that's
we haven't
another.
Talked about sim racing hardly at all.
No, not at all, not yet. Jesus, it's almost as if we're part of a larger ecosystem. Wait, we don't talk about politics. Oh man,
but you know what you're saying is, oh, this is the way that things are. Why are we
it's
protesting?
Not what, no.
And I'm protesting that this is the way that things are, and it shouldn't be. And if I am paying to have an opinion, I would like LMU to release IndyCar, please.
Do you know what? No. If we're gonna go down that route, LMU needs to negotiate to have the rest of the ACO catalog, so we get ELMS and ALMS and all of the other. I don't think SRO is under the ACO, is it? SRO is different.
No,
yeah,
very different.
SRO is SRO.
Yeah, very, very different.
Yeah.
So we'll have the SRO content in ACE and the ACO content in LMU. All of these three letter acronyms. But yeah, there's. I'm trying to be the devil advocate. I totally agree with you. The state of early access is terrible. The reason why the state of early access is terrible is because development houses and games publishers need money. Like, line must always go up.
So I do understand it for LMU, because Motorsport Games either released LMU or they were going.
Well, they went under.
I don't understand.
Still might not save them. Have you guys seen the news on that?
Yeah, but still, I don't understand it for Wreckfest too, as Bugbear is healthy and Nordic, as far as I know, is quite healthy, and I don't understand it for Kunos up to a point. 505 has been struggling.
Yeah.
But Kunos,
as I say. No, as I say, it's the publishing houses that are causing the issues here. THQ Nordic has been having big money issues over the past few years. Just because we're not seeing headlines about it doesn't mean it's any better. We know about 505 Games, that the issues that they're going through. I do believe that it's these publishing houses that are causing the issue. That are forcing these games out early because we can just patch it is now a modus operandi rather than doing the correct order of development, basically. Again, I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. I'm saying that may well be the reason why. Sound off in the comments if you know better, or if you disagree, or if there's something that we're missing here. But yeah, something's got to change with this cycle, because it's just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the issue that Assetto Corsa Evo released, and they were not able to solve the server issue, the big server issues, for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And by the
Yeah.
way, they still have not completely solved the server issues. Every time I start Evo, in the middle of a race or whatever I do with Evo, I get oh, you're disconnected, trying to reconnect. And I'm like, guys, it's months already that you're out and you are still not being able to solve the server issues. Where did you go so horribly wrong that you're not able to repair that?
I have a better question. Why does it need to be online?
That's another an important question. Yes.
Yeah, why are we... Or now there is only one reason that I can think of, and that is so that they have an anti-cheat or a method of anti-cheat built into the system because they're going to try and put mods into Asetek Corsa Evo. Or they're trying to allow mods into Asetek Corsa Evo, and this may be their
license control.
Yep. License control, verification of file integrity, things like that. Make sure that imagine, for example, if you had to just verify that the car files or track files on the server line up with the car/track files on the client, and that's why they are trying.
I mean, that's a checksum, and Assetto Corsa and all sorts of other things that do
totally
modding
agree.
already do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. But maybe they're trying to, because apparently, now I've never seen this, but apparently in Assetto Corsa that's really easy to get around.
It depends
Again,
on what you're checksumming.
apparently. Yeah, exactly.
Anything that you checksum is going to be pretty strictly verified. But
Yeah.
the issue comes whenever there's things that aren't set up to be checksummed against. I might not be using that word correctly, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think it's because they want to be Gran Turismo sim race, and because Gran Turismo is always online, they have to be always online because that's what you do when you are something like that. I'm not saying I agree with that opinion. I'm saying that I fear that is the opinion that
Oh no, that's fair.
into
Yeah.
that.
Is Gran Turismo always online?
I think it is, as far as I know.
I'm sure you can play it without an internet connection.
I'd be surprised.
Because that's why there's a whole
have to
campaign
test.
to play. Yes. I wish I could. I don't have Gran
But the
Turismo.
results. But the
Oh, no, I
results
have
of the results of the campaign also go into your account online, which is what
that's
happens with
It's an
Assetto
always
Corsa Evo.
online game.
Yeah, that's just syncing achievements. That's like
But-
your Steam achievements.
Yeah, no, GT7, like GT Sport before it, is always online DRM.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
sucks eggs because GT Sport is no longer playable because they took the servers offline.
Yep.
Mhm.
It is gone. And that
If
really,
you are-
really sucks because those DLCs were expensive and numerous. You could have spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars in that game, and now you can't access any of it.
Yep.
And I mean, let's
That's-
not forget that one of the reasons why we're having such crappy early access and keeping getting those is because people buy it still.
Exactly.
Like if people
So-
would look at Wreckfest
no.
2 and say this is horrible, let's not buy it, then they would stop doing it, or Assetto Corsa Evo or Le Mans Ultimate.
Yep.
Because Le Mans Ultimate
which is the reason
now
why
is at a point where it can be used, but it took them 1 year.
this is the thing. So now, it brings us on to a side note of the early access conversation, but it's where I'm at now, where they are adding the last of the features that allow me to, in good conscience, buy the game. Like up until now, I have not played LMU. I have not owned LMU because, for what it's worth, I don't know what the future of motorsport games is going to be. We now have slightly more information on what Studio 397 may be, but again, we still don't know what was going to be the future of LMU. And as far as I was concerned, I still got a more feature complete experience from R Factor 2 than Le Mans Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
With being able to have player liveries, with being able to have driver swaps, the game is now, again, in May, it will be, or it may be, in a position that it's finally feature complete enough that I can, in good conscience, buy it. But that's not what a lot of people... That's not how a lot of people look at it now. They're like, oh, if I buy it now, I'll get it cheap. And have faith that the developers are going to make it into a complete product. But I think it's fair to say that in all instances, Assetto Corsa Competizione, for example, still not a complete game. Still not the complete SRO experience. Wreckfest 1, still not a complete experience. We can fix it.
Okay,
with
what's
mods,
missing
but
from
we shouldn't
Wreckfest
have to.
1? Because I would call that pretty complete.
The compatibility with keybinds and stuff. Being able to set multiple keybinds. Yeah. Now,
that doesn't work well. Yeah.
It's not. I've not had the issue, but Certa's had the issue, and there were a lot of people in our comments last time saying that this has been an issue since Wreckfest 1 in the Wreckfest 2 review. There are people in the comments saying, this has been my experience since Wreckfest 1, you can't bind certain stuff. Now, that could be user error, but it's not explained how to fix it if it is user error, so again, still not feature complete.
If a lot of users have an issue with your software is either not well programmed or at least lacks in usability. Yeah.
There is a problem. We can answer we can ask questions as to what the problem might be and how to get around it, but the base of it is there is a problem. So as far a lot of the recent games that we've had supposedly development completed on, they're not feature complete, not by a long shot, not in the way that Gran Turismo was. Not in the way that the old Forza games were. Go back to PS3 days where you couldn't update onto the console. And those games had to be feature complete, unbroken. Any exploits or any problems that are there are just there forever now. So clearly we're able to do it. Or developers were able to do it. We're just not now for some reason.
And before anybody says in the comments, because I'm already reading those in my mind, I can see the future. I see dead comments. Being able to decide in which direction it goes, like we did for Wreckfest 1, or we did for Baldur's Gate 3, or whatever, is something different than getting delivered a software that has critical issues, crashes, and that doesn't work as it was planned. Like, for example, Assetto Corsa Evo. Like, I do understand if the companies deliver the core of a software and say, hey, this is what we're going to be working the next, 12 months, 24 months.
Yeah.
I think Baldur's Gate was... What was it? 3 years in early access. I don't care about that. Like I have no problem with that. If the core software that you deliver is on a level that has no critical issues and only a couple of major issues, no matter what updates may bring critical and major issues because you didn't test with every possible computer, with every possible chipset, and so on. It happens. We know that PC gaming is complex because of all the variables. But still, if what I deliver as early access is something that has critical issues, then I've done something wrong. When Wreckfest was, what was it? Next car game. Next car game.
Yeah.
Next car game.
It was not at the level that Wreckfest was at the end. But I don't care. It had the first thing that they released. They said, "Look, this is just a technical demo, and look, things break and pieces fly around, but you can start the game and you can drive around." Okay, perfect. All right. I am also quite invested in the world of science fiction games. There are a couple of game demos out there, playable demos, which are great. And you can start that, you can play around, then you go to the Discord and tell the developer or developers, look, I think you should go in that or that or that direction. And they release it as a demo. They don't earn a penny. It's a technical demo. It's a look, I have this idea and I want to make it this way. What do you think? Perfect. I have no problems with that, and I have no problems with a company releasing something in early access that is the core, and then that core becomes something else. Like there is a framework for developing software called Scrum, where you deliver something that works on a minimal working state, and then I compare it to a Perl. Every time you deliver an update, you get another level of mother of pearl of it until it's a wonderful shiny pearl. Perfect, no problem with that. But what you deliver has to work. It's what it's called the minimum viable product. It works.
Yeah.
And then you start building things around it. No problem with that. That's not what I'm saying is the problem with early access. The problem with early access is that we are getting, pardon my French, crap software badly developed.
No.
Instead of a polished pearl, you get a polished turd.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you said it. You put it yourself. You said it right yourself. It's a minimum viable product, and I think that we aren't getting the minimum viable product.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, I hate. I hate and love to come back to LMU, because LMU, as it originally released, was a very good minimum viable product. Outside of the efficiencies and that sort of thing, the problem was it came from a much better product. At the time.
Too, yeah, that too.
So, it everything exists in the context of where it came from. So
but I remember Cody not being able to even start one race. He wasn't even able to start a race because the system.
I started one race.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I remember,
and then not after that.
Yeah, wasn't that
start a race.
Was that an FPS issue or is it a? I can't remember the particular issue.
So I could
having.
drive for like at the very beginning of it, and this is old news now. LMU's good now.
Of course.
But I could start it. I could turn like I think it was 3 laps, and then the frame rate would get like progressively worse until I couldn't do anything.
Oh, memory leak. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the game would crash, and I would start it back up again, and then it was just still bad. Like even after a restart, it never got back to being okay again. So uninstall.
Big memory leak issue. And again, that's the kind of thing that we would expect to have running and working. And unless you were the only one in your particular setup that happened to have that
but
issue.
it was about half
but it wasn't.
Of the people in our comments were saying, we're having issues. And the other half was saying, no, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, good for them. But if half of
50-50
our
is
people...
not.
Exactly.
If you extrapolate across the amount of people that viewed the video and were having the same opinion, a 50-50 ratio, it either works or it doesn't, is not a good place to start. Which again is adding to the point. And again, we know the reason why it was released at the point where it was. We know that they may well have been aware of that issue at the time of release, but that doesn't excuse it.
By the way, they would not have had those,
managed better.
Yeah, they would not have had those issues if they wouldn't had released NASCAR 21 in the horrendous, even worse than what we are getting as early access, in the horrendous quality that they released it, which was you can go and check our review of that because it was a train wreck. No, it was a car wreck.
So bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't even need to check our review. You can check everybody's review.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's again. I'm saying the same thing again. Sound off below. Give us your opinions on this, because it's a very complicated issue and is absolutely a product of the financial and economical system that we're living in at the moment, and the state of the system that it's in. Unfortunately, there is no quick fix that comes out great for the consumer and the publishing studios and the developers, other than, well, does Kunos go it alone again? Does Kunos step out from under the 505 banner and start publishing on their own? That could be a way forward. Does Studio 397 break off from MSG? That's not going to happen. But does Studio 397 go off on its own again? We tried being owned by a larger publisher. It didn't work. We're going to carry on doing what we're doing. Let us know what you think. Let us know if we've got anything wrong or if we've missed anything as well, because we do read all your comments, as we've explained already. But now, if everybody's happy with when we finish that,
1 second.
That's all good.
Maybe we should talk to Gabe and see that Steam allows early access only when there are no criticals and only 3 major bugs in it.
Oh, no, I've got a better idea. If the reviews on an early access title go beyond mostly negative, then it automatically gets pulled from the storefront.
And people get their money back. Yep.
People get their money back is a...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then it castigates the company releasing the software that is bad. That is the thing.
I like that a lot.
You have to force the companies releasing bad software. You have to castigate it. You have to stop them. So when it gets pulled from the shop, people get their money back, and the money is not coming from Steam. The money is coming from the software studio that released bulk.
More coffee, Cody.
Well, it's early in the morning for him. Exactly.
Oh no, I need more coffee, and it's like 4:15 in the afternoon. I need more coffee. Yes, I agree. That's a really good way forward. Gabe, if for some random reason you're watching, take that idea, run with it. We won't come after you for it.
I love the idea of Billionaire
great
Gabe
idea.
Newell just sitting around watching us on a on a Thursday evening.
To be fair, have you seen the like Chad moves that Steam or that Valve continue to make? Like,
oh yeah, no, I love them.
Someone there is
great.
Clearly watching something and keeping the finger on the pulse of public opinion. Because my God, like they are like, no companies are your friends, but good God, Steam are close to being one of your friends. Like of all of the companies that aren't your friends, Steam is the top of that, or very bottom of the list.
Surprisingly, doing things much less bad than other tech monopolies.
Yeah. They're doing the very sensible business thing of, if I just keep doing what everybody likes, maybe they won't notice that I'm a monopoly. But anyway, that is early access, I think, well and truly talked through, and hopefully we'll have some comments as well from our lovely community, Rig and others, of course. If you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. It's absolutely fantastic. We've hit the 10K mark finally, which is
we've
hit
fantastic
the
as well. 14,000 mark already.
We've gotten that far already. Jesus Christ! I have been watching the videos, not keeping an eye on the sub count. Can you tell?
All right, patrons.
We've already pimped our patrons.
Yeah.
No, if you want to, thank you very much to our where is it? There we go. Thank you very much to our patrons over at patreon.com/WromWrom for their support and ideas, and also to our members on the YouTube channel for their support. If you are a patron or a member of at least the Formula 4 driver or bronze level, you will be able to hear us record this podcast live, warts and all, including the rather eventful pre-recording chat that we had today, which absolutely did not go across absolutely everything. But yet you will be able to hear that, and you'll be able to react and ask questions in our chat and have a proper one-on-one conversation with us. All the more reasons to become a patron with us. If you want to see us record this live and all of the pre-show shenanigans, join our Patreon. Bless up our patrons. Cody, the PMS game. I mean,
Project
That's not
Motor
even
Racing.
the right acronym.
Project
No,
Motor
really. No,
Racing.
PMR.
No, they've renamed it to Project Motorsport for a while.
No, it's Project Motor Racing.
No.
It was
It's still
Project Motorsport.
Project Motor. No, Project Motor Racing.
We're
Did I?
Mandela affecting Ike right now in real time because Ike
Don't
is
do
definitely
this to me.
incorrect about this.
No. It is. It's ProjectMotorRacing.com.
Exactly.
That's
Project
what-
Motor Racing.
Oh yes,
said,
that's what you
it's
said.
not-
Yeah.
PMR.
No, you're right. Yep. I swear they changed it to Project Motorsports.
Nope.
I'm sure we had that
No.
conversation.
No, you were Mandela into that.
Cool,
Yep,
fine, whatever.
That's amazing.
I'm happy with PMR. That's
a
all good.
Mandela effect of one man.
That's wild. I remember having this conversation with you and everything.
No, because I said it wrong
Changed
in one
from
video.
GT Revival to Project Motor Racing.
Yeah,
That's
and then they
the-
changed
that's
it
the
again.
rub.
No,
That was
No.
No.
that's fine. That's fine.
I
Okay,
said it
cool.
wrong in one video.
Is that what it was? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's fine. That's fine. Cool. Anyway,
Okay.
Project Motor Racing.
Yes. So this is, of course, Project Motor Racing is Ian Bell's new title that's in the works, not out in any sort of broken or otherwise early access yet. Now that we've spent 40 minutes talking about that.
Well, we
but
can't talk about politics, so
it is in development, and they have announced a few cars for it, and they have all so far been 2000s GT cars, which makes me very happy. And they have posted an update on their website that is less an official announcement of anything. They're not announcing any new content or anything like that, but it is a statement of intent, very clearly, that they're saying, here's the headline. It is the 2004 and 5 GT class comes to Project Motor Racing.
But
Now,
they
this
are
is
not
announcing
detailed.
any new cars,
no.
um,
no. Plot
but they're
twist is
saying
the
the
whole.
class. The
Yeah,
class
the whole
comes to
class.
Project Motor Racing. And they wax poetic about how it's the last true era, the last true seasons of GT racing, of no turbos, no assists, just, you know, the
V12s.
men, the cars, and the tracks, and it's, you know, and it's great. And I strongly encourage you to read it because it is actually pretty inspiring and great. I'm kind of ragging on it, but it's good. It's good. But this is a statement, and it lines up with the content they've added so far, which would be, for a quick refresher, the Lister Storm, the Mosler MT900R, and the Celine S7,
Mosport.
and the Gillet Vertigo also. So those 4 cars they have already announced, and all of those cars are 2000s FIA GT cars. And this is kind of a statement of, like, we're going to be making the 2004 and 5 GT season in Project Motor Racing. They don't say complete, but they say that it is coming. And the liveries that they've listed are the cars liveries, but without the official number plate sponsors. So, and they say 2004 and 5 GT Championship, but they link to the FIA GT Championships database in Motorsport Magazine, and other than that, there's no reference to the FIA anywhere. So I don't know that this will be officially licensed by the FIA GT like GTR1 and GTR and GTR2 were. But it is a statement of intent that we are getting basically GTR3.
My God, the list of cars in those 2 grids as well, like, oh man, where's the weak one? Where's the one you wouldn't want to drive?
Nissan 350Z, that's the answer.
What? Oh, yeah.
in the NGT class for
Yeah, yeah.
2004. Although I will say
still
that
wouldn't
that
turn
was
it down. It's
yeah,
not
as a
bad
kid, that
car.
was one of my
Yeah.
go-to cars, just because like I wasn't going around seeing Ferrari 550s on the road, but boy, did I see a ton of 350Zs growing up in
Yep.
the 2000s. So,
I mean,
and I was like, man, if there was a spoiler on the back of one of those, 9-year-old me was going nuts, right?
yep.
Just
Yep.
because, like, ooh, sports car, yeah.
And the Ged. It was built the wrong way around.
Say again?
It was built the wrong way around.
What was?
Well, they let the Americans do the engine and the Japanese do the styling.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the 350Z if it had been designed by an American, but with a 2JZ in it?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Or if they just totally handed it over to the Americans and we got a V8 350Z.
Okay, no,
but weren't those all V12s, the GTs?
V6. No.
350Zs? No, those were like some lousy V6s, I believe.
We're talking about the GT class of 2004, 2005. I thought they were all
right, which all had the production engines in them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was the cool thing about this class, was that it was the production engines, but then they were just throw as much tuning at it as you can within the rule set, and then they bent the rule set quite a bit throughout the course of the seasons.
To be fair, I would love to see GT go back to a point where you have to get a car off the lot, strip it out, put a roll cage in it, and
that's
then
GT4 basically.
Yes, yeah, but
it's production chassis in GT4.
It is. That is true. But they're not in GT3, and I kind of that upsets me. I want to see production chassis go that quick.
GT4 is always my answer whenever like there's like NASCAR boomers who are like, man, I wish back when it was actual stock cars and not the crap we have today, right? And I'm like, yeah, so you want to watch GT4 racing, because that is that. Yep. And it is awesome, and you should go and watch it. And then they never do, and they continue to watch NASCAR. And so it's like, okay, you just want to complain.
Yeah, you just want to. Yeah. You literally. Yeah, but isn't that just what most people are? They don't actually care. They just want to complain about it.
But anyways, before people complain that I'm going too off topic here, let's take a look at the 2004 and 2005 grid. So we've mentioned the 350Z. We mentioned that they're bringing the Celine S7R. They're bringing the Lister Storm. The Viper GTSR was a big car of the era. It was by 2004 actually like close to a decade old, but it was still duking it out with the best of them. The Ferrari 550 GTS Maranello, and then in 2004 you got like the first few 575 GTCs, which were really an evolution of the 550. You got the Murcielago RGT from Lamborghini. You had the Maserati MC12 GT1 making its debut in 2004. That's the car I probably spent the most time in GTR2. That and the Corvette C5, which freaking duh, if you know me.
Duh.
But yeah, so that's where I just for the 2004 GT grid. There's a whole host of Porsche 911s in various varieties, 360 Modenas as well. That was the 2004 NGT competition, and then there was the Nissan 350Z, which competed. I think the list that we have that I copied from somewhere is wrong. I think the 350Z actually only participated in the 24 Hours of Spa. But yeah, other 24 Hours of Spa cars is the Corvette. The Dodge Viper Competition Coupe, which was based on the next generation Dodge Viper, and surprisingly few were made. I think they only made like 18 of them, and I think the FIA GT Championship was the only time it actually saw like genuine competition that wasn't like SCCA, amateurs. Really cool car. Did not get its due, but it is in the 2004 season for GTR2. Speaking of which, so GTR was the 2003 season of GTR2.
Yep.
GTR2 was the 2003 copied over and 2004 seasons of GTR2.
Oh.
This promises to be the 2004 and 2005 seasons of the FIA GT Championship.
Literally
so it
GTR3.
is, yes, literally, like Ian Bell's like 20 years later, I'm coming back and I'm making GTR3.
Also, you've missed the most interesting cars. That of the DBR9, the TVR Tuscan T440R, which is the car that I spent all of my time in Gran Turismo. Because let's face it, it's the longest that TVR's ever going to run. And the Spiker C8 and the Spiker C8 GT2R.
Yep. Yeah, so those are the 2005 GT cars, which is this is where it gets cool if you played GTR2 without any mods, and you're like, man, I never got to experience the next season, because it did get interesting. They changed over from the GT and in-GT rules to GT1 and GT2 rules, which is like, hey, we're calling things GT1 again now. After GT1 died in the 90s, and they just basically just renamed it to the GTS class. If you look at the IMSA naming, the GT1 grid, like you said, you get those really cool GT2 cars, the Spiker C8 and the TVR Tuscan. The Aston Martin DBR9 is super cool. That one's great. I love that car. I think the prettiest GT1 car. I'm gonna say that. And this is, as someone who has every generation of Corvette that has ever been a GT car, I'm going to say the DBR9 beats it. And then you also got the Maserati Grand Sport Light, which competed at the 24 Hours of Spa, and that car is weird looking. I'm going to say
I was going to say this. I was going to say this. That rings a bell.
Yeah, it's a forgotten sports car of the 2000s that really I only know from GTR2.
Yes, yeah. No, I was gonna say this was in Gran Turismo. This was in Gran Turismo 3 or 4.
And then no games since then, because it was totally forgettable. It got cut from every gaming roster.
Yes, a whole 430 horsepower. Whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are not cars all that are confirmed. However, their statement of intent that this season is coming, or these 2 seasons are coming, is really cool. But they
were very unspecific about that. They were very unspecific. No tracks, no cars.
Like I said. Yeah, it's little in the way of actual substance in terms of like this is confirmed, but it is one of those things where Project Motor Racing was originally called GT Revival, as we've hashed out with Ike here, and so it was like that was the plan, was to make a new GTR game, and it seems like that is still the plan. They've just changed the name and maybe broadened their scope a little bit, but they're still saying, at least, that they're very, very in line with the original vision that they laid out.
Good.
So I'm excited.
In some way is lazy thinking, but on the other, I don't care, because I'm very much stoked for racing those cars.
I'm sold on a dream. I hope it comes true. I know that Ian Bell is maybe not the right person to like get hooked on a dream of. However, I liked Project Cars 2. I liked Project Cars 1. Hell. And of course, I love GT Legends and GTR 2. And so in my book, he has not done me wrong yet. Yet. And so I'm staying optimistic for this, and with this, considering this as a roadmap, which is generous, it's not actually promising much in terms of actual substance. Considering this as a roadmap, it's incredible. Again, it's not a roadmap, but if you consider it as one, it's incredible.
It's a statement of intent.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, and a statement of intent is exactly that. It could be that they hit all their marks. It could be that they don't. But good God, where are you go? Like, where's the miss here?
If they get to
the
75% of this, I think that's a
exactly.
success.
Yeah.
The miss is the physics. If they go Project Cars 1 or 2 once again,
well, no, because they're using the Giant engine.
Giant's
physics,
engine.
aren't
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
if they all feel like they handle like tractors, we'll know why. But
they? One thing's for sure: they know how to handle weight.
yeah.
Fair enough.
They won't have the same issue as
But-
things like iRacing and R-Factor 2, where the cars will feel far too light for what they are.
But have you seen the physics and the graphics pertaining to the physics in what is it called? Farm Simulator 25?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yikes.
I'm aware. I'm not going to discuss that at all, because that may put a shadow on this, and I don't want to. I've been negative enough today, thank you very much. It's your turn, Serta.
Speaking of which, next topic.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of being negative, as it turns out, with this latest update, is there any point in playing EAWRC anymore when Beam.NG exists? Now, I will say, with their latest update, they have brought a beta version as the early, without getting back into the conversation that was the first half of the podcast. This is in a beta state at the moment. They are wanting feedback on the rally voices and things like that. It is something you have to enable in game. But from what I've seen and from what others have said and seen, it seems to be going quite well.
What does?
I don't know.
Let's talk about it.
I don't know how they're doing it, but they appear to be coming out with better and more accurate notes than EAWRC.
Who's doing it? You've barely introduced this.
Sorry,
let's talk
Beam.NG.
about it.
Am I sorry? I'm assuming everyone's up to speed on that. Okie dokie.
Beam.NG 0.35 update has been very rally focused. They have added a new rally mode, which they had in sort of an early stage. It was kind of mostly just their time trials mode, but just with a rally now, which they already had in their scenarios. But this new update makes it a proper rally mode. And what differentiates a proper rally mode from just a time trial with checkpoints, and that is pace notes. So this gives you a co-driver in your ear, which gives you actual like turn-by-turn directions for the rally stage in Beam.NG, which is a first for at least from Beam.NG themselves. So this is big. This is super cool. There's 5 full rally stages with pace notes, and in addition to that, we also get a remaster of the Hirochi Sunburst, which you could think of as a Beam.NG lore-friendly Subaru Impreza. And it now has, instead of a like transverse inline 4, it now has a flat 4 engine, like a Subaru Impreza.
Best engine,
and yes, they get new rally configs, new rally parts, and Ike, you're gonna love this, considering I know what you drive and I've been in it. It gets a wagon.
yes, we now have the objectively better version of the Subaru Impreza, which I've never owned. Funnily enough, I've only ever owned the saloons or the bus that I have now.
And they've released also rally versions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 cars that were already in Beam.NG.
Oh, I missed that.
Charrier
What were the
FCD,
other cars
Hirochi SBR4, Ibishu Pessima, Ibishu Covet, Ibishu BX, ETK Y Series now all have a rally version.
And that's
with
really
rally
interesting
parts,
as
rally
well.
configuration, blah blah blah. And they have released also some what you might call it. The flags that you use in rallying where the points are and tire barriers and so on, the way that they are used in rally. So they really are going deeper into the rally world. I mean, they already had the physics, they already had the damage physics. They are also bringing a differential, an active differential, as it's used in rally. So they are really not only just publishing one rally version and a couple of changes, but they are also going deep into the physics, so that if you want to go rallying, you are going to be rallying. And let's not forget, Beam.NG has a massive active mod community. And every time that they release an update like they've done this time, they release also a long list of notes for the mod community saying, this is what we've changed. We now call what we were calling the variable that we were calling this and this, we're calling it that. We've introduced these, blah blah blah. They even publish quite extensive notes on their updates of the Lua engine, which is the internal programming engine
language.
within Beam.NG.
So, which actually is really which is great as well, because in the multiplayer version it means that we now get to have the objectively better version of Rally multiplayer, where you have to go off in 2-minute stages, which they had in WRC 3 and no other game ever before or since. Which was really annoying, because imagine if you could join an online lobby in Dirt Rally or Dirt Rally 2 and you had to queue up to get your set in, and the rally stage could degrade as time goes. It was such a missed opportunity.
How old is Beam.NG? 10 years, right? Isn't it?
I believe it's 2013.
Yeah, it was like
2013. Yeah, that was what I had in mind.
Yeah. So a little more than 10 years.
Yeah,
12 years.
I was going to say, I have searched this recently. No, tech demo was 2013. 29th of May 2015 was the release. So happy 10 years
10
for
years.
May.
Yeah, I bought it on release, I remember.
Yes, yeah. As soon as I had a PC that could run it, I bought it as well. I don't play it that often, and I
do. It is actually the game that I have the most hours played in behind Assetto Corsa, with 363 hours on Steam.
ACC only just overtook my hours played in R-Factor 2 late last year. By
the way, Cody, you're going to love that they are revamping the career mode all over again.
Yes, yeah, which is bittersweet, because I was very far into one of my career modes, and every time they update the game, it resets it, and you can't go back to your old career.
Oh, really?
But
yeah.
I think a lot of the fun is like starting up like the early game.
It's the early game stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because once you run out of the scenarios that they have, earning money gets really hard. Because most of the money comes, and this is a problem that I think that they need to fix with the gameplay, is that once you beat the game in a way,
there's no repeatable quests.
There's very few repeatable quests. Well, you can repeat them, but you don't get near the amount of money that you got. So you'll get especially like once you get to like your level 4 stuff, like you'll get like $7,000 for a first place in a race or whatever. If you do it again, you get like $200.
Oh god! That's a really bad drop off. Oh my god!
So the drop off is like it's really not worth repeating things, and they do that so that you're always experiencing new, and you're not like just grinding the same mission that makes you a lot of money over and over. Which is fair, but then whenever you run out after you've done it for let's say 50 hours, you know, and you've done everything there is to do, then
Yeah, you're done.
But to make it,
they need like a procedural.
To make it clear to
generation
anyone
of
listening,
missions.
we are not moaning because we do know, as Beam.NG make it very clear, career mode is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Anything that could go wrong will go wrong if you use it the wrong way. So having to start all over again, having a quite limited set of things to do, that's all okay because it is a work in progress and has been stated as such.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't even really advertise it. It's still like grayed out in the main menu, and you have to like double click it to actually enable it.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's like you gotta like do the Konami code to get into it. Not
cool.
quite, but you know.
Not quite, but close enough. No, that's a really nice little touch as well, that they're actively dissuading the average users from jumping into it.
And another thing, we've talked extensively about Rally for good reason, but they are also putting a lot of stuff that has to do with drifting in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Beam.NG
drifting and Rally, of course, are near enough. There is a Venn diagram of at least of the physics. But I'm thinking WromComms is going drifting. Beam.NG is going drifting. Is drifting the next big thing in sim racing?
Well, it's been underrepresented up until now.
It's been in Assetto Corsa mods, tons of them.
Yeah,
but
mods
that's the
don't
thing,
count.
Mods count. Oh,
no,
buddy, mods count.
Oh, I agree with you. As far as like individuals and communities and things like that, there are entire communities that are held up solely by mods and individuals who maintain those mods. But as far as developers and games and official statistics and things like that is concerned, we can't include mods in things like that because developers need to. Again, I'm referring to space engineers again, but the amount of times that I've over the past 10 years that we've seen community-made stuff embedded into the game in Keen's own way and method and things like that they have straight up ripped the idea is the wrong way of putting it, but taken the idea and embedded it in the base game. It is more than two hands count now. Like, over 10 ideas and concepts and fixes have been put into the game. Same with things like Grand Theft Auto. There was a loading bug that caused you to load into online really, really slowly for years. They took, with permission, a mod that fixed the long loading times, and now those loading times are a third of what they were. Like, mods are incredibly important, but it's only when the developers start to pay attention that we can say that it's got legitimacy.
But I would say that if you develop a platform with the intention of it being moddable, I think the success of the modding community that your modding tools and your moddable platform creates can be a measure of success for your software. Like,
100%.
Beam.NG has a mod repo. They have a whole website,
yes,
where people can upload mods. They have information on how to make mods. Assetto Corsa did the exact same thing back when they launched. They released a whole modding pipeline tutorial on how to make mods and add them to the game for both tracks, cars, etc. They released official tools on how to make mods, and people even modded the tool, and so it's like, I think if you are making something that's like, hey, we're building a moddable platform here, the success of the mods on there is absolutely an indication of the success of the platform.
Which makes it even more surprising for me that drifting has not been taken on by the studios sooner. Because the drifting community in Assetto Corsa is enormous, and
huge.
It's not something that started last year. It's something that started years ago. I think about 2 to 3 years after Assetto Corsa was there already was an enormous community. So maybe companies are looking around and are saying, hey, there's one thing that we haven't paid too much attention to. and that's drifting.
And Assetto Corsa has a drift mode. Officially, there is a drift mode. There are drift cars.
You mean Evo
officially in Assetto Corsa?
You mean Evo?
No, the original Assetto Corsa.
Yeah, in the original
has
Assetto Corsa there is
mode.
yeah.
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 And
It has a scoring system and everything.
They had one track from the beginning that was a drift track, right? I think.
Yeah, and they have a track, but it wasn't just limited to that track. Like there is a drift mode with drifting points and scoring systems built in, and it was very good. And so Assetto Corsa saw this coming a decade ago.
Yes.
By the way,
absolutely.
Beam.NG also has a points mode in their drifting thingy.
Yes, and it got an overhaul recently.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it got an overhaul as part of this drifting update. But again, there's one studio creating a drift mode with non-licensed cars is very different to WromWrom using the real world data like we've had from in other disciplines, and embedding it in their base game is what we're saying. That's where the relative ignorance of the industry that Serta and I are surprised by it is coming from. Not that, it's we know it exists and it's very popular. That's goes without saying. It's just the lack of interest from developers in supporting that directly.
Oh, by the way,
I think is the best way of putting it.
One point that many people may not have been aware of, even if I said so in the last news, the SimuCube, the update of the SimuCube software for the pedals brought, for people who don't know, their active pedals, you can load different profiles into them so that they react in a specific way. And one of the new profiles they released when they released the new software, the 2.5 for the pedals, was a drifting profile. That they've done together with a drift driver.
Now, my understanding of the drift setup is that they have a very long and soft brake pedal.
I haven't tested the drift profile, so I cannot tell you. But maybe it's exactly that way. And by the way, if you look, but that's more of a quick and dirty hack that they did. If you look into the profiles that are available, so with the active pedals from SimuCube, you at the end of the day you buy exactly the same pedal, and with the software you tell the pedal you are a clutch, you are a brake, you are a throttle. And one of the possibilities that you have, and as I said, it's a quick and dirty hack, but they wanted to do it because that's the way they are spooled. One of the things that you can tell the pedal is you're a handbrake.
Oh my god.
So I mean, some engineer had the idea and then went wild with it. They're not releasing a handbrake based on one of the pedals. That's something that I can say from first hand conversation. But yeah,
Serta, I'm going to have a workshop soon with manufacturing tools. Because what you can't see behind this beautiful screenshot of the Sebring 12 hours that I participated in years ago is all of the tools that should be in a shed are currently behind me because we've not had the storage up until now. But we need the space in this room, so I need to get all of the tools that are currently in here out. Hence, there is a shed coming that is going to have a proper workbench and everything like that, which means that if you were to maybe give me some dimensions, I might be able to make a handle for you.
I can even put you in contact with the SimuCube people so that they can give you the dimensions.
It's a fair point. Hold on. That could also work. would they be interested in? We'll save this for another time.
But yeah, there could be, some
I've still got to
conversation going on there.
I've still got to sell my rig design back to Playseat. But I've still got to make a video about it.
Coming back to the point, even SimoCube, or I say even, but at least one of the hardware manufacturers have realized that within all what they are publishing, there could be some interest in drifting. As I say, they did it working together with a drift driver, a Finnish drifting pro. I don't remember her name right now.
Oh, cool. But they are pros. That's all you need. Beyond that, they know what they're talking about. That's awesome. Oh man.
So I do think that we're seeing, away from Assetto Corsa and all the mods, all the tracks and cars that are there for drifting, I think we're seeing some interest within the industry, not only the community, but within the industry of at least dipping their toes in drifting and seeing if that's something that could interest the people who are supporting the industry, which is all of us paying.
Yeah, I am very excited, because drifting is a totally different physics system, and I think that there is something to be gained from as you say, I think the community and the industry are a very good way of phrasing it. You're right, Cody.
Yeah, I've just seen something.
Oh no!
I'm trying to verify if this is actually
cool.
happening.
I'll carry on with what I was thinking about.
Did it come out on April 1st?
No, it's real. It did, but it's real.
Oh no! Okay, I'll finish up
with what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is going to derail everything.
No, I think that what you said, the way that you put it, Serta, is the best way that it can be put. Is the difference between the community being invested and the industry being invested, and I think that there is a lot to be gained from the industry paying some attention to drifting and the drifting sphere and all of the discipline around that, because drifting is a much slower sport than you would expect. It's a much slower paced sport than you would expect as well. It's similar to snowboarding
because it's the finesse of how you use the pedals, the handbrake, and the steering. So it's not it's like hockey racing, like ice racing versus what is it, the figure skating. I think it's called figure skating in English.
Absolutely. But yes, it's as I say, there's a lot to be gained from this. I hope that it continues. I hope that World Rallycross becomes a bit of a darling in the industry as well, because that's something that is massively missing representation at the moment. It is Project Cars, it is Dirt Rally 2, and it is iRacing at the moment. I think that we can do some. Oh, and MS2. God. Yes, yeah. All of which have their issues as far as availability and that is concerned. So if between drifting and rallycross, I think we could get a much better representation in the physics side of things. Cody, you are very smiley. What's up?
Okay, so I was flipping through my my YouTube page. I was trying to find one of our videos because I was going to look at the comments of it, and I saw an announcement trailer for a certain re-release of a certain game, and that certain game, if you know what it is, when I say what this is, it's gonna hit you like a Vietnam flashback.
Ridge Racer? Okay.
Oh no. Oh no!
I wish.
That is Big Rigs Over the Road Racing.
Yeah.
Oh Lord! I remember that from arcades.
But the screenshots look exactly as Big Rigs looked. What was it? 10 years ago or something like that. So I think they just.
Oh, you're gonna hate this. 2003, 20 years.
Yeah. So
Lord.
I think they're releasing exactly the same game, which was horrible.
Yeah.
That's
So
fine. That's fine by
let's not
me.
skip. It is going to be released on Steam on April 8th. They announced it on April 1st, April Fool's Day. So that was why I was like, I gotta verify that this is real.
Yep.
But the Steam page for this is real. It is actually there. So okay, if you are unfamiliar, if you're wondering why does Cody care about a 2003 Big Rig game, it is a racing game.
It's great.
It is known as one of the worst games, and I will go out on a limb and say the worst racing game of all time.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And if you're like, oh no, iRacing's the worst game.
I was gonna say,
no.
no,
I'm
really.
talking like seriously, as a piece of software, this thing does not work.
Worse than NASCAR Ignition.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Although I will say that on launch, this game did actually run. So well, but it did. It did run.
It didn't run for long.
But yeah, so there is no time limit to complete a race in Big Rig Over the Road racing.
It doesn't matter
the
if you leave the
opponent-
track.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're on track or off track. Hell, you can drive through walls. No. The opponent, you have one opponent, and they do not move ever. So the AI just does not work. And if you complete the race, the only thing that happens is a little thing that comes up on the screen that just says "Your winner."
Please tell me it's spelt wrong as well.
It's YOU''RE winner.
It's not wrong, but okay.
It's
still
not right
bad
either.
English. Yeah, it's not right, but it's not wrong. Wow.
And my favorite part is that there is no limitation on the reverse gear. And what do I mean by that? So you accelerate forwards linearly
Yes.
up until you reach the top speed. So it doesn't even
Yes.
have like it doesn't have like gears or anything. You just you zero and then top speed, right?
It's an
and then
e-truck.
It's just like a straight line to that. Yeah. Backwards, they did not put in that top speed limiter.
Oh no.
So you can go backwards, and remember, there's no collision on hardly anything. So you can go backwards infinitely fast. This is a game that released on consoles.
Oh no.
Kids got this for Christmas.
Oh, that's so bad.
But I don't think
I
more than
thought I
10
was-
kids got that. Because
I was
And it
gonna
is
say,
now coming to Steam.
Do either of you know the game London Racer? Speaking of bad
Nope.
games.
Oh, no, I didn't. I
Oh
didn't see that
my.
one. Surprise,
It's-
surprise, that you'd be more familiar with London Racer than I would.
Yeah, no, it's street racing through London.
Okay.
One. So, I can't remember the name of the markets in London now. Oh, that's so bad. I just know them by their postcodes. The market that's in WC2, that's near Soho. Oh God. No, I give up.
Coventry?
Covent
Gardens?
Garden. Covent Garden.
Yeah, I've been there.
One of the races takes you through the Covent Garden complex.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's my overriding memory from it, and you can go through it in an Aston Martin, a Mini. I don't remember. London Taxi, all of which were the same speed but had slightly different handling. It was a weird game. You can still buy it.
but that gives me the question of the month. If
Oh, no.
if you guys didn't have one prepared.
Yeah, carry on, please.
By all means.
So I would say question of the month: what was the worst racing game you've ever played?
Oh, this is. I mean, I have played Big Rigs Over the Road racing on an emulator,
See?
so that's
See?
an easy one. But if it's not that answer, it is NASCAR 21 Ignition. on
No,
launch.
for sure.
That's the
yeah.
answer. That's an easy one.
The worst.
And I think I'm the only one in this conversation with us that has played it, so I get to win that one.
I have played some bad racing games demos on the PS1.
Name and shame. Name and shame.
I can't remember them. They were demos.
They don't count then. You got to remember one.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know.
It has to have
been
bad enough to leave an impression on you.
Oh, no. Some of these things didn't bloody launch. Oh, no. Crash Team Racing was really good. I really like Crash Team Racing.
I think the worst that I played was some F1 game of the 90s, like even before the time of F1 2000, which
you're
compared
in
to
dangerous
that
territory, because you might strike someone's favorite game here.
I was going to say you're about to be in very dangerous territory.
And it was I don't remember now, because I think I even threw away the CD and whatnot, but it was some F1 game from before the time of F1 2000, like not EA Sports but some other company.
Oh no, which one was it? Destruction Derby.
Okay.
Destruction Derby was a game. No, Destruction Derby 2 was the one that I owned. And I nearly didn't buy it because of the Destruction Derby 1 demo that didn't launch.
So I played this again on an emulator, I'll be honest. I have a PS1, but the spinner broke, so I emulate my PS1 games now that I own. But yeah, so I have played this. I liked it. It was good for a few minutes.
Demo, remember. Destruction Derby 2, far better. Destruction Derby 2 is Wreckfest, but obviously PS1 graphics.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Destruction Derby it definitely felt like a PS1 game, but like I didn't mind it.
No, Destruction
for what it is.
Yeah, the Destruction Derby demo did not work. It would crash the PS1.
Oh.
And then I got Destruction Derby 2 second hand for £3.59 from one of the rental shops. It was an ex-rental thing. And I spent too many hours on that game. I knew all of the tracks off by heart. Did you know, by the way, speaking of old games that are great, but you know the Gran Turismo 1 Special Stage Route 11 track with the deadly chicane, the right, left, left, right chicane?
Yeah,
someone's modding that into AC.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I will, once that's done, I will boot up Assetto Corsa and drive around it in a 1999 Dodge Viper GTS, because that's the only car that you should... So, one of the things that I have been doing with my Assetto Corsa install is I have been... Because I have thousands of cars over the years. Good cars. Because I mean, you could fill up your Assetto Corsa install with thousands of just absolute schlock.
Yeah.
But there are enough cars now that you can have thousands of cars in Assetto Corsa. Probably some that you'll never drive. But thousands of cars that are like pretty darn good from very reputable modders and creators.
And you can have them on the grid around you as well, which is probably more important than just driving them.
Yes. That's the big thing, is that like I'm probably going to drive one car, but I want to drive it against a whole fleet of cars that are around that. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going through and I am tagging each car, really I'm going through lists of games like Gran Turismo 1, and I'm tagging each car with what
games
they
were
in.
Beautiful.
And so you can just select a tag, and it's like, all right, now I have all of the Gran Turismo 1 library of cars that exists for Assetto Corsa in decent enough quality for me to want it.
Do you have the scariest car in that game? The TVR Griffith 500.
think so.
That car
was that an older car? TVR?
Yeah. It was the older. It was like a 1998 TVR Griffith.
Oh, okay, not
It
the
was-
1998 one. I don't think so.
Okay.
Are you
It was
Griffith?
it-
Are you sure you're referring to that one correctly?
definitely. It was definitely TVR.
Because I have
Griffith.
the Cerbera, which is an insane car.
No.
Okay.
The Cerberus was when they actually got their act together. The Griffith was the one before
okay.
that.
I do
There you
remember
go.
this one. Yeah.
I
I don't think this one. I don't. It might. It's if it exists in the world, it probably exists for Assetto Corsa. I don't think I have this one. I don't think I've verified that there's a good enough version. For
It
me
doesn't grip. It doesn't turn. It doesn't brake. It does no. It has too much power because I think it had 500 horsepower. But it couldn't turn, it couldn't brake. There was no rear end grip or stability, and nothing you did to the suspension because I foolishly bought one trying to make it do that. Nothing you could do to it made it any better. And you had to go through that double chicane in one of the gold level tests. One of the gold level license tests was driving that car through the chicane. It was a nightmare. I hated every second of it.
There's a lot of that in Gran Turismo games. I hated it, every second of it. It was horrible. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow.
Exactly. Oh no! Don't talk to me about Gran Turismo because my record was I completed a full 24-hour race in one go. I once stayed up for 8 hours overnight tuning a Peugeot 206 rally car for my friend who was not very good at rallying, so I had to make the car as grippy as possible on gravel, basically. But yeah, it was great. It was great. But we are getting into nostalgic places now. And also into good games. Sir, so what was your worst driving game that you've
As I said,
you've played?
the one F1 from before the F1 2000 times. I don't remember now exactly what it was called. Because
I was going to say, yeah, he won't say it. He won't say it just in case it's someone else's favourite, which if he was going to say 97, I would have had you for that. Because F1 97 is good. Not least of which, Murray Walker.
Yeah, there were some stinkers back in the day for sure.
There were. I was
especially in like the really early '90s on like consoles. There were some.
And by the way, I made the question broad, saying racing game because sim racing in the '90s or 2000s. Yeah, there was, but it was not at the level that is today by far. So yeah, the Toka games
like
you could call sim racing, but
Toka was so good.
Yeah,
oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm clearly not mentioning the Toka games amongst the bad games.
Oh, so good. Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you gents want to get on camera before we close out for this month? Because I'm going to melt.
Melt?
Yeah, it's really warm today. I am ice cream. I am English. I don't react well to cold or to heat. I need a nice equilibrium. I need a little terrarium, apparently.
Oh man. Okay, I think we're good. Serta, did you want to talk about MS2
there's
Super Trucks?
There's 2,000 things that we could talk about, but let's close it here.
That can wait either for the news, which remember to watch the news on Sundays, folks, or for next month, because by that time we may have had an opportunity to drive them. As always, it's been fantastic spending time with you gents again. I look forward to spending even more time with you in the near future. But if there's nothing else to say, always remember to be excellent to each other, save fuel, collect pitter. There. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.